Chat's working. All right.
Okay, get the video working.
Anyways, while we're getting the video working, my name is Mitchell. My summer tag is 1 tons of damage. I used to play for the team. I used to play for the Ohlone JV team last year. I hit gold 2 before I stopped playing League altogether for Heroes. My shoutcaster is Drew, who will say something right now.
My name is A Change in Fate. I'm a gold 5 player. And yeah, we apologize for the delays of the game. So we're going to start off, right off the bat I can say... Hopefully that should be a lot better. So Orianna did get first blood in the mid lane against Lulu.
Bring that over here. So apparently our client crashed. We'll be back in just a couple seconds. Handle it.
Alright, we are back. So yeah, just to recap, Orianna got first blood on Lulu. So yeah, I guess that will make a pretty big impact. And while we were missing, Riven got 2 assists, and Jarvan and Orianna both got another kill. Rumble did die up in the top lane. I apologize if you did miss that, and Nunu died as well. So I can only assume there was probably a roam from mid lane to top, and there was probably a little scrimmage there, which blue side did win.
I really enjoy their team comp. I don't know, like the enemy team comp. Like,
yeah,
they're looking for that wombo combo.
Blue side has a fairly strong comp. The issue is I don't know how tanky it's gonna be late game. Red side does have a later. I feel like Red side has a much better team comp later game. They have Rumble, they have Nunu, they have Lulu, they have Jinx, and they have Braum. So they have a fairly strong Protect AD carry comp, as well as Nunu's abilities to give people attack speed. I feel like Jinx can really just go off and just kind of dominate. So it really just depends on how well blue side's early game.
I'm still waiting on those Nunu in bush tactics.
Yes.
Fucking Nunu bush tactics would be fucking. You know what? I'm just gonna let Drew talk for now before I like keep swearing.
Okay, so yeah, again, top lane, I don't know how much is going to be happening from there. Rumble is 4, Riven is 6. Again, Riven does hard counter Rumble, and on top of that, Rumble had that mishap early game, so he's kind of fallen behind. it will be difficult for Rumble to get back in the game, but as long as he plays passive, he should be okay. But I would strongly advise him not joining in a fight anytime soon. Riven hasn't backed yet ever since she's done, I believe she did Wraiths or Wolves, I don't remember because we weren't there in the game. But she hasn't backed since then, so she will have a fair amount of gold coming her way. I don't think anything too much is going to happen here. It's a level 6 and a level 5. Oh! Alright.
Nunu is going to die this fight.
Yes.
And it's over.
Oh, that
flash into Jarvan. Actually worked.
Oh, yes.
So I take back my sarcastic undertone.
That was actually
on that one.
A really interesting play by Lulu. That kind of impressed me.
It was a next level play where she flashed into J4 and then they were not really prepared for that.
Yeah. That was pretty next level strats. One thing I do want to point out is the gold difference between mid lane and between mid laners. Orianna's sitting at 44 gold. Lulu is sitting at 13 gold. Orianna does have most of her Athenes done, which is going to be pretty big for her. And
yes, not gold.
Yes.
It's not the same difference.
Lulu did just get Chalice though. She is making her way back up, but I feel like Orianna is gonna have a fairly big lead in that lane. Bot lane is also 10 CS down behind, and while we're at it, Brahm's got 5 CS on Thresh, so pretty next level strats.
Yeah, if you feed the support enough CS, they're just going to dominate the game with their support items.
Now with Tear the Goddess, it really makes me wonder, is Ezreal planning to go blue build Ezreal or Triforce Ezreal? Tear the Goddess wasn't really standard build for regular Ezreal until fairly recently. Some people still haven't caught on, some people still just rush Tear the Goddess, but with the Tear of the Goddess there, it does kind of make me question if it's like Triforce or blue build. I feel like their team comp would fit well with blue build just because you can really appeal for the Riven and the Orianna as an AD carry, and you just have a lot of long range poke, and then you can just kind of engage when in, which is kind of a counter towards their team comp, which is very much engage.
I feel like blue build would be better for him because of the fact that it comes with slows and just gives him like easier time escaping from people.
Yeah.
But Triforce Ezreal is still a viable comp.
Of course. Well, I think it's more damage, but I'm just trying to figure out what he's going to be going. Just because.
As Frequent said, Triforce equals tons of damage.
Oh,
and that Braum shield.
That Braum shield was beautiful. Sadly, they are going to lose this trade. But that was just. That
snipe was really good.
Yeah, that was perfect timing on Braum's side. That is the downfall with playing Jinx against Jarvan is.
You have no escape.
Yeah, you're pretty much screwed. A little scrimmage happening top. Ooh, okay. Nunu did miss his ult, but the slows.
He did hit all of his own minions, though.
That is true. I think Riven. Yep. All right. So the kill goes to Rumble, which is pretty big. That's gonna help Rumble get back to lane. There is still a 26 CS lead on Riven, so she's still doing fairly well. She has Brutalizer, and she's building her way most likely to Hydra.
So I haven't played in the League meta in a while, but when did Lulu mid become a thing?
So Lulu mid, I mean, it's became popular with the Protect AD carry comps when they became really strong. If you remember when CLG got relegated, that's actually how they won the majority of their games to get back into the LCS. Every single game, it was either Lulu top or Lulu mid or an Orianna mid, something that would have a shield. And then you can really just focus on getting your AD carry ahead, making sure they can kite and live in team fights, and then them being the main source of damage. And it works well, and it doesn't matter.
Lulu is dead in this fight. So that was a really nice ultimate by Orianna. Orianna ulted her, ignited her, and then finished off with the last auto attack. I think Nunu is going to live.
Wow.
Nunu lived through that engage. It looked actually like he was about to die, but then, Nunu's...
Yeah, I think that was just a really good roam from Rumble. Rumble could kind of see the small skirmish, and had he not gone there earlier, that could have turned into a lot worse. So good play by Rumble. Definitely helping him to catch up in lane. They're about even in levels now, so it's about good.
They're about 1.5k gold behind them.
Yes.
So that is a nice lead over the enemy team. Man.
The one thing I do want to point out Red Side though is Lulu mid, even when you're behind with these Protect AD carry comps, it doesn't matter so much how far behind you are, because your shield is, your AD carry is going to be your main source of damage, which, speaking of which, if your AD carry doesn't get ahead early, this team comp does kind of fall off. Oh, one auto attack away.
Their Braum is really, really good at reacting
Yes.
to the engages that they provide.
Oh.
And Ezreal did get the greedy play right
Yes.
there. But I feel like Ezreal did lose in that trade because Jinx is already behind. So
Yeah.
Jinx being behind a trade for a kill means that
What are you doing?
that Lulu is greed.
Yes.
Greed central. And like, I'm surprised she's not getting punished.
She might be.
actually. No, Braum
okay.
is here to save the day. It doesn't. Ooh. I wish she got punished for that, but
She might
Ezreal
be,
ult is
yes.
incoming, so it might not touch her.
Okay, yeah.
I was hoping.
Good shield by Lulu. But again, yeah, the whole idea of Red Side's comp is you get your AD carry really far ahead, which is why they have Braum and Jinx. It's a really strong lane. You can really get it far ahead. If Lulu falls really far behind, Braum.
That was a nice kill in jungle by Orianna. The problem is their AD carry isn't doing as well as they would hope.
Their AD carry is fairly far behind, but do remember it is Jinx. Jinx does outscale Ezreal. Ezreal's still undecided if he's going to be building Triforce or blue builds. He does have Sheen, and obviously that goes to both. At this point, I feel like if he builds Triforce, he's just going to be creating a lot of damage. But if he builds blue builds, it will really kind of counter the Rumble and the Nunu and even the Braum, which honestly I feel counters their team comp almost as a whole. So I feel like that almost could be better. But at the rate of how much gold they are increasing over the enemy team, going Triforce could just be a good way to make that early game push and just kind of end the game as soon as possible.
Oh, that does hit Riven.
Yeah. Oh, this Braum.
This Braum is like top notch.
Yeah.
On those shields. Like,
This is definitely not his first time playing Braum.
no, definitely not his first time playing Braum. I've been like every single time we pan the camera to him, he just like completely negates Thresh's engages on Jinx.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, Rumble.
Rumble is going to die in this engage, and that was a really nice tower dive by J4.
Yeah.
So J4 ran in and took the shots for Riven so she could have.
Good ultimate by Lulu.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with Lulu is she's really anti-burst. Like, if you
Yeah.
can't kill her in that one hit, she gets away really, really easily.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to say is I do have to give it to Jinx. Well, she's not doing that great right now. The enemy team comp completely counters Jinx. That enemy team comp is a comp you really want to play a mobile AD carry, and I feel like almost if they had picked Thresh for Jinx, they probably would have a higher chance because that would at least give some form of mobility to Jinx via the Lantern. But as their team comp is right now, they have J4, they have Orianna, they have Riven. Huge gap closers on those champions, and against a very immobile AD carry, it's very hard for her to play, just to play in general and not die in team comps, as well as their bot lane has a lot of hope. And
so Braum does die defending Jinx from the hook.
Yeah.
Which isn't really the best play. I feel like Jinx wouldn't have actually gotten hit by the hook. But Braum jumped in front of her anyways, and his wide shield did take the hook and force it on top of himself. So it's not exactly optimal play, but you know, whatever to protect the carry.
Yeah. The thing is, with the Braum nerfs that came not too long ago, it really did weaken his laning phase. He's still fairly strong, but Jinx Braum as a lane as a whole is going to fall early if they're against someone like a an Ezreal Thresh or even an Ezreal Lulu, someone who has a lot of poke, has a lot of engage, it's going to make it very hard for Jinx to even just farm because of the long range Q of Ezreal. And Ezreal executed that perfectly. He's landed the majority of his skill shots, and he's made it a really hard time for her to farm. Now, interesting engage here. Nunu and Rebel are joining the fight. Oh, perfect form. Oh,
is amazing.
Very well played by Orianna. I feel like Orianna probably MVP so far. I mean, she's made a few.
Been hitting quite a few. Like,
yeah.
I
Oh, and Thresh.
She's hit
Yeah.
all of her ults. They haven't killed anybody, but they've hit every single time.
Yeah.
Like, so props to her.
Well, and you can't expect too much damage. She has Mercury Treads, Athenes, and then needlessly large rod. She hasn't really gotten to her massive power spike yet. She is level 12 though, so she does have her level 2 ult. She does need to be careful though because she is tanking turrets. And
she's taking quite a few turret hits.
Ooh.
That master plan bait though.
Oh.
That bait was too good on Orianna's part.
Now I do want to give some credits to Lulu because despite the fact that Lulu has made a fair amount of mistakes and kind of lost lane early, Orianna being over twice her CS, Lulu has actually made some very clutch plays.
Her reaction speed is really quick.
Yeah.
It's just her laning phase wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
But she's reactive to, like, when she does make a mistake, she fixes it as quick as she can find, as she can.
So yeah, as I was saying, Ezreal did blue build Ezreal, which is kind of what I was assuming. That does actually counter the enemy team comp very well, so it makes me really happy to see that he went that route. It does negate your damage a little bit compared to going Triforce, but
survivability
it's
so nice.
It's a huge counter to Jinx as well. She's already an immobile AD carry. Without flash, she has no escapes. If you can continuously slow her down in a team comp, with their team comp, with their engaged, slowing her down, she will not live. And against the protect the AD carry comp, your only goal is to protect that Jinx. And if you can't protect that Jinx, their comp is already outthrown. I wouldn't say that the enemy team is necessarily dominating them with play, but I think they just have a better rounded out team comp where they just kind of are going to be able to take over the game a little better.
I feel like our team, the Ohlone team, has a lot of high burst damage characters, and the enemy team is getting singled out in their own jungle very, very often. And because Ezreal and Riven just stole a free kill on Nunu while he ran into his own jungle.
Yeah.
And I feel like even with the amount of wards that Red has in their own jungle, they're not placed well enough to find to really protect them.
Well, if you notice, they only have 2 pink wards down right now, and granted, blue side did just get rid of a lot of the vision on the red side jungle, but on the blue side jungle, they have 2 pinks that are fairly close to each other, and they're fairly well placed, but I feel like the one near blue buff is not essential. There are better places to put that pink ward where you're going to get more information out of it. Yeah. Preferably in river or near dragon, so that we get a little bit of.
I feel like they went for the more conservative work. Oh, that hook is really nice, and that is a kill for the blue team again. And it might be another, but Ezreal, I'm hoping he doesn't get too greedy and run.
He's pretty much out of mana. If he jumps over the wall,
he'll be dead.
He does have red buff though. That's the thing, is he's insanely far ahead and he does have a red buff. So despite not being able to use his Q, he could possibly kill Nunu and Braum, but with and
there's another amazing hook by Thresh.
And
and an ultimate that will probably kill both these. Oh, did Mr. Ult, but it doesn't matter because J4 is in there for the save.
Now, one thing I do want to point out is the Ohlone team is a very new team. They haven't been practicing for very long, and their mid laner they are playing with right now was originally a sub mid laner. So there's not a lot of practice on this team, and not with their full roster. So that could be one of the reasons why this is going on. They're still trying to figure out, their play style and whatnot. But overall, I just think this game is being really well played by blue side.
Yeah, overall, the Ohlone team is actually doing really well, despite being their first time playing. You can kind of tell they're not quite coordinating completely, but they have a lot of re-engages, so it's okay that people back off because they can just come straight back in. Like J4 backed off and then jumped straight back in with his ultimate.
Yeah.
And then got 2 more kills off of that.
I think,
engage.
honestly, the win condition for red side is going to be getting Jinx ahead again and her ability to farm with her rockets. Or to team fight with the rockets. Because her auto attack range is 525. Against that team comp, if you're in 525 range, you are dead. There's no way you can live that. So in team fights, she almost exclusively has to use her rockets.
They do, however, have a almost 15k gold lead.
Yes.
Over red team. So that amount of gold is insane.
Yes. And it is growing.
Ooh,
that was very well played from Jinx. She's playing far back behind, just so that way she doesn't die. Very, very well played by Jinx, actually. But Ezreal is just during the fight, and we've seen already Ezreal. Very well played by Lulu. Again,
the positioning in this team fight was awkward, but
yes,
it somehow worked better to Red's favor.
Okay, yes.
Until that happened.
That Ezreal is a monster right now.
Ezreal is extremely fed right now.
Yeah.
How many kills in is he, if you can pan to that?
9, 1, and 6.
And he has 170 CS. So he is pretty nearly a god at this point.
Yeah. I'm taking a lot of free damage from Wolves, though. Should be fine.
I think he got scared by Braum.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I really just have to give it to Blue Side. I really wish we could have seen their pick order, but they really picked a team comp that just completely counters the enemy team. And overall, I think Blue Side's early game presence just allows them to be able to push harder. And if they got that gold lead, it was almost a guaranteed stomp for them, just because of how much earlier Blue Side's team comp gets their power spike compared to Red Side.
I've always enjoyed the early game carries, just because once you get ahead at early game, it makes it very, very easy to carry the rest of that into late game and win. And especially as a 5-man team.
Yeah, I feel like with Red Side, a really easy fix would have been going Corki instead of Jinx. Corki works really well in a protect the AD carry comp. It gives you a lot of early game burst damage, and you also have an escape, which is really important against a blue build Ezreal and a Thresh. And then again, Rumble played extremely well, but you have to remember he had that mishap in Wraiths where he died, fell behind in lane, and Riven did get a lead. It wasn't a massive lead, but it did set Rumble back far enough where he wasn't able to impact the map globally as much as he probably would have liked to. You make those few changes, and honestly, Red Team's comp probably would have been fine.
I wish we were there for the pick order.
Yes.
Because I wanted to know if Jinx picked it into this team, or if our team picked against their comp.
Going to next game, I think they probably already know Blue Build's strategy. Maybe they have more strategies, but in this current strategy, you have an AD carry you can play very safe. Okay, I just want to watch this fight really fast. Beautiful flash from Jinx. She's using her rockets, executing it perfectly. She's getting a lot of damage. Sadly, it is on J4. And
Orianna, it comes in again with another amazing ultimate. And just cleans up the fight really well.
I really have to hand it to Thresh and Orianna. Like, Ezreal's playing out of his mind, but Thresh is landing almost every single hook possible, and Orianna's landing every single ult she's landing, and it's not just 1 or 2 players, it's almost their entire team.
I don't think she's missed one ult yet, and she's
sadly, Red Side is grouping like crazy, and they're playing against a team comp where you can't group. If you group Orianna and J4, that combo is a very strong, deadly combo. You just throw your shield onto J4, J4 ults as soon as you can, and then all of a sudden Orianna ults. That's devastating. They can't group. And as
Red Team is turning this fight.
Yes.
They just killed Riven, and I think they're going to clean up the rest of these pretty easily. Hopefully Ezreal gets out alive and does not give them the 300 extra gold. And I think J4 will make it out. If Orianna shows up, as you can see on the map, she is coming up right now to try and assist. if they kept chasing, I feel as if Oriana might have made another amazing play right there.
Yeah.
And probably, which is good on their part. They did back off and they didn't chase too hard. I feel like many players make the mistake of continuing chase, and when you chase too long, people come up and then
They just kill you.
they just kill you. That's it.
One thing I do want to point out is Nunu did get Locket. Huge buy. It does counter Blue Build Ezreal somewhat, and it does counter Oriana as well as Thresh. It will lower their damage a bit. But J4 and Riven are really strong right now. They're actually doing a ton of damage, and he is building armor, but I feel like there needs to be more armor on the side of red side. Rumble is going for Rylai's Crystal Scepter next, which is good, but he doesn't really have the magic penetration he needed really. He needed to have done a Leandre's Torment, or at least a Haunting Guys to start off with, to give him the ability to do that damage with his penetration. Another thing I do want to point out is red side does have a chance. They need to stall out the game as long as they can. Jinx does almost have her Phantom Dancer or Static Shiv, whichever one she's going for. On top of that, Braum did get Ziggs Heartbringer, which is a really big buy, especially with Jinx. It gives her a lot of power in lane or just in any team fight because of the critical strike chance.
So this engage on blue team, I feel wasn't the greatest engage. They were 2v3ing them, and the rest of their team was not.
Honestly, it was a very cocky play from Riven. She engaged with her ult on a support, which Braum is not your priority pick. Yes.
But once again, Oriana with the on point ultimates right there. I feel as if like their hard carries right now are going to be Thresh, Oriana, and Ezreal.
Yeah.
On our team at least.
But back to the engage. Riven is engaging onto a Braum who just used his ult to back off. And then J4 used his ult on Braum only. So you have two ults on blue side being blown on the support only.
And then Braum did jump out of those ults is the problem.
So a very big misplay on blue side. It's not a big deal. They can still win. Red side is not in a spot where they can really punish any throws from blue side. But I think if blue side continuously plays with their team split up like this, they're not going to get the results they want because their team comp is not split push.
As if red team can stall the game out long enough, and I can see how they could win, because if they can stall the game out long enough, I mean they're getting stronger, and like if blue team keeps throwing like random. Like, if they just keep randomly throwing, they're going to lose. But Riven is almost not. I was hoping she was going to steal that top turret. But red team is going to get caught here. I'm watching for the Oriana ult.
Yeah. This Oriana has been really interesting to watch. She played out of her mind.
Right?
One thing I do want to point out is it doesn't honestly seem like blue side is on the right page.
No, blue side's team isn't right. Like, so they're playing like solo queue where their Riven and their J4
Oh, that Oriana ult. The first ult missed of the game. But it's honestly not going to mean that much. Jinx needs to back, though.
Yeah.
She is very close.
They're getting chunked. But yeah, blue team is playing like a solo queue match.
Yeah, they were playing really well in the early game, but the past 10 minutes, they haven't really been, maybe like 8 minutes, they haven't really been playing as a team. They've been scattered around. They seem like they're all on different pages, which honestly doesn't really matter because they're about to end the game.
They're ahead. The thing is, their goal lead is so far that they can honestly do almost anything they want and get away with it.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, right here, this seems like a massive miscommunication on their part. They could have ended the game, but instead they gave
But Ezreal is going to clean up the rest of these kills.
That is true.
Could
this be the second quadra of the game?
He's really greedy right now.
Yeah, he's very greedy.
He needs to end the game or, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they were... So, our team did make misplays, but, like, at the very end, after they've gotten a really strong lead. I feel like if they were playing... like a more coordinated team, they wouldn't do very well.
And again, I really want to point out Thresh and Orianna. Ezreal played really well. I'm not saying he didn't. But in lane, that Thresh was massive. That Thresh was the main reason why blue side dominated bot lane so hard. And he was the reason why Ezreal was able to become the monster that he was. Really, honestly, just I have to hand it to Thresh. He played really well. 18 assists, really well, really good, really strong. And then Orianna she noticed when red side was grouped and she just capitalized on it. She ulted and honestly, a pretty devastating game, I would say. This is a best of 3 match, so it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. You can always come back. Hopefully red side does realize the strategy that they were going for in case they try going for it again. Again, Jinx should not be a top priority. In this meta, Tristana can almost do the same exact thing as Jinx. She can push towers actually faster than Jinx. She has an escape. She has an ultimate that can disengage for herself. She doesn't do as much damage early game, but you stall the game out, you pick maybe like a Nazir mid, you just make sure Tristana has all the ability she needs to succeed. You switch that Lulu from mid, you take her top, and then all of a sudden you have a perfect protect the AD carry comp team where you have Tristana who can protect herself as well. And then if blue side comes up with another team comp like that, it will be a really good way for them to not necessarily counter, but to not be in a situation like they were that game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think game capture is gonna get Chancellor because it isn't full screen during Chancellor.
Oh, it's not gonna get camps like, is it? Okay, switch it to
Here. We are back. We are in the draft mode as of right now. They're going to be starting pick ban phase. First ban was Darius. So my question is, does blue side not plan to play Darius, or do they plan to play Juggernaut? Because you're on blue side, you can take an OP. You can ban something like a Lulu or something like that, or something kind of like trollish, or something you don't want to play against, and then force them to ban something like that, and then you can pick Fiora, Skarner, Darius. You can take one of the.
I feel like because they're on blue team, they just want one. So
Yes.
they're banning out the ones that they don't play, so that the red team cannot pick.
Exactly.
Into it.
But my question is, which one are they going for? Because my personal preference is Darius. I think Darius, honestly, out of all of them, has one of the most like dominating laning phases.
They might be going for Fiora. Fiora is very popular in this current meta.
She seems, I don't know. They did just nerf her early game.
But our team
yes.
did ban Fiora, so never mind.
We're blue now.
No, we're not.
We are?
We're still red.
We're still red team.
Our team is So Jarvan for okay.
So they they banned their own Jarvan.
They banned the
which
Jarvan
is
that worked
interesting.
really well against him. My question is, did they plan to pick Jarvan and accidentally ban him? Or did they actually ban him? Because I don't honestly think Jarvan is that big of a threat. You first pick Jarvan and you just pick champions that have long range poke. And then all of a sudden you just make sure they don't engage on you.
However, our team did ban, because of that last game, they did ban Orianna.
Yes.
Because the
this-
blue side Orianna was...
I do want to question this really fast though. Why are they first picking Maokai? They're on blue side. They're first picking a champion who just got nerfed and really isn't that strong right now. He's not a lane bully. He's not dominant until like super late game. This pick doesn't make sense to me. There's a few OP champions that are available right now, and red side has 2 picks. They have a much higher chance of picking, they're taking away the Thresh away them. The Thresh that was like the main reason they won that whole last game. And
I feel as if they're picking... So the thing about the second game is that it can be a throw for the blue side, because they have already won the first game. So perhaps they're testing the waters to see if they can win with this comp.
This is very true.
Like, they have a 2-game leeway. I mean, it's not always optimal to throw. Like, they picked an Urgot currently as well.
Yes, they're mousing over Urgot. My question is, the Rumble pick is good, but Rumble did just get nerfed a lot, and it didn't. The Rumble
didn't work
the
well
Rumble
for
played
us.
really well, but the team comp they have right now, the Thresh was a good pick. The Rumble pick makes me question. They should have prioritized their jungler.
No.
They really should have picked their jungler. Now, look at the enemy team comp so far. Now, the Maokai pick, I don't really agree with. I don't think you should first pick that. I do think, with the 3 champions they have right now, and Alistar is a bigger pick, or Thresh even, or Braum. Alistar is a very, very good support right now.
I like Vayne.
The Vayne pick is interesting. They have a lot of armor and health on the enemy team as it is right now. It's just a mouse over though. They haven't picked it just yet. They're probably discussing right now which AD carry to pick. The thing with Vayne though is that if they pick Vayne and they try doing blue build Ezreal, blue build Ezreal is not an easy... Blue build Ezreal does not have an easy time playing against Vayne. Vayne has all the kits to dodge his abilities, and with blue build Ezreal, if you don't land your skill shots, you don't have the auto attack damage to take over a team fight. Blue build Ezreal is dominant only if you're landing your Q consistently. But yeah, blue side has a lot of damage. I really like this Kog'Maw and Ahri pick because they have all the engages to peel for Kog'Maw, and it gives them all the damage they need. Kog'Maw and Ahri, those 2 between them, you don't need any more damage than that. The rest of the team can be tanks. So that's perfectly fine.
And let's see what this last pick AD carry will be on our team. It could possibly be Vayne, perhaps that they moused over earlier, or it could be a different AD carry. I think they wanted to wait until the last pick to see what comp that they had before
Honestly,
they picked their AD carry.
Vayne would work fine against the blue team. Kog'Maw can honestly really harass Vayne if he's good, so it's going to be very based on the Vayne player. I do honestly agree with the Tristana
like that
pick.
Tristana pick,
Yes.
though. I feel like Tristana is better than the Vayne in this one. Just because, Tristana has the get out of dodge button that can get him out of, range of Alistar, and, they have such heavy engage and displacement
No.
on the blue team.
Here is the big issue, though. If you notice, blue side has no disengage.
They have a lot of disengage.
What are you talking about?
They have
Gragas.
Gragas.
Oh yeah.
They have they have
Yeah.
Gragas.
Maokai.
They have Maokai's Q in his ultimate that like reduces damage. They have Alistar that can peel really well, like one character off really well.
But when it comes to a flat out engage, like Maokai can kind of do that stuff. But if Gragas' ult is down, like Ari can get away, but Kog'Maw can't.
I feel as if they're trying to go for a protect the Kog'Maw / Ari comp on
Yes.
the blue side team, and then with the purple team, I mean it looks like heavy burst damage, heavy.
The one thing that I don't agree with is the Lee Sin pick.
Yeah, Lee Sin doesn't quite.
You really want to pick Lee Sin when you
Fit
have
into that
laners who are going to be able to get ahead. The only laner here I can see who can possibly get ahead is Victor. Tristana can kind of get ahead early game, but
Rumble
really
can too.
Rumble can too, but he's against a Maokai. Maokai is not really someone you're gonna stomp and get kills over and over again with. Tristana can, but her true she shines mainly late game. Against a Kog'Maw Alistar, it's gonna be really hard for Lee Sin to jump in and kill Kog'Maw. So I feel like the Lee Sin pick maybe wasn't the greatest. I mean, maybe it'll work out. Maybe this guy's an insanely good Lee Sin. I don't personally know. But I feel like he should be spending most of his time mid lane, just because bot lane's going to do its own thing. They're going to farm what they can. Top lane's going to do their own thing. I don't really see there being a lot of action in those lanes.
I feel like I don't think there's going to be too much action on the top lane. There might be, because when Gragas hits 6, I feel as if the amount of CC in top lane is enough to kill Rumble.
That is true.
If they catch him is the thing. With mid lane, it's a little bit harder. Lee Sin and Victor, I feel, cannot really catch Ari. Ari is really, really squirrely, and I feel like unless the Ari has really bad positioning, which usually isn't the case, it is the Orianna from last game, and that Orianna's positioning was almost on point. Like, she was always behind her own support at all times.
Well, I do want to say that, and I completely agree with you. The blue side's mid laner did position very well. She was greedy. Many times, blue side could have pushed mid and won, but instead she tanked so many tower shots and took so much free damage that they had to back. And honestly, blue side stalled that game out longer than it had to be, considering it was almost a 20k gold lead.
The only problem with that is our team did allow her to take those damage, take the tower hits without any sort of repercussions. She took it, and nothing on our team, nobody on our team stopped her from doing that. Nobody punished her for doing that. And so I feel like they can be greedy because our team isn't very good at reacting to that sort of circumstance.
I feel like their team comp does have a lot more crowd control than ours does.
They have a lot.
I feel like the enemy team late game has a lot more engage and a lot more.
They have so many engages on the blue team. They have Maokai engages. They have Gragas engages. They have Ari's little taunt engage. They have Alistar's engage. Their team is really, really pick heavy. If they can get one kill off really quickly, it's enough to. We're gonna stop the thing. So we need to. We just need to be careful not to get caught out in their team comp. Otherwise, we will.
Only thing I want to say is blue side has a great team comp, but if Kog'Maw and Ari die, they have no damage. That team comp has lost all damage, and control.
Go to OBS.
But yeah, I feel like if Kog'Maw and Ari die, blue side is going to have a really hard time in that team fight. So it's going to be very important that they keep those two alive. And we got Bug Splat again. Give us 1 second. It will be right back. and we are back. I feel like late game is going to be very, very dependent on Victor for red side to be that dominating force. If blue side.
So I am watching the stream chat. Miguel, you have a good point there, but honestly, they've been playing really well. So
Yeah. So again, when it comes to professional play, it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you don't play as well as a team, you're not going to do well. Take for example, all the people who reached ranked 1 in solo queue went to LCS and they were completely terrible in LCS and got benched from every single one of their teams. I can't remember his name, but he was that really popular jungler. Night Blue 3 is a great example on that. He joined TSM as a sub, did horrible in scrims, even though he was always a challenger player. But when it comes to games like this, it's going to really matter down to who has better synergy as a team, who picks the better team comp, who communicates better. You can be a great team, you can have better players, but like Team Liquid is a great example. They have honestly some of the best players in NA this whole split, but at the end of the day, their whole team never learned how to take objectives, and that's why Team Liquid couldn't beat Cloud9, who, I mean, at the end of the split, while they still won, they weren't a good team. They really had a lot of issues. And again, last game wasn't any testimony to their skill. Last game, Red Side, or Ohlone's team, I guess I should say, really did, Renegade Gaming, they really had the worst team comp, and they didn't execute their team comp for what they had very well. And Blue Side did just out-rotate them, out-pick them.
you got to do those potatoes, man.
You really have to know how to play your team comp well. And I feel like California Lutheran University just outplayed them last game.
Hopefully they can bring it back this game.
Yes, they very easily can. Kog'Maw versus Tristana. Let's talk about that lane really fast. It's very so Kog'Maw has an early game advantage once he gets like level 3. But again, not a very mobile champion. If he gets caught out by Thresh, Tristana can easily burst him down. And if Kog'Maw gets bursted down, the damage on blue side is almost gone.
Alistar's disengages, though, are really, really strong, at least during the laning phase.
Yes, exactly.
The second that Thresh lands a hook, Alistar can just shove Tristana out of the way. That is a good hook on Thresh's part.
Kog'Maw healed. That was a really misplaced heal. Alistar has all of his little biscuits up, so I don't get the point of that heal, and it's honestly going to weaken the laning phase of them. And really good plays by Thresh. Thresh has landed all of his hooks so far, and really has given Ohlone a decent lead in this lane. Kog'Maw is getting zoned from a lot of experience and a lot of CS right now. Tristana is double his CS, but there's a big wave coming up on red side, so that way, Kog'Maw can come back and hopefully catch up. A little misplay by Thresh, a little miss of a hook, but that's okay. He's just zoning right now. Again, top, I don't really see there being much action with top lane.
Maokai's heal is really strong, and Rumble does spam skills.
Yeah.
So Maokai does get that heal for his auto attacks. And so I feel as if that lane...
Lee Sin
is going in for a jungle gank. But Gragas did dash out of the way.
Yeah.
And so...
I'm not sure if Lee Sin took that blue or not.
I'm not sure. If you can pan to Lee Sin really quickly. No, he did not.
So not a big deal. I think he's just trying to show Gragas that he is a threat. Early game, Lee Sin does have a considerable more damage than Gragas does. Yeah. Lee Sin, if he gets a really good leash, can stay in the jungle for quite a while. But if he doesn't get a really good leash, he does actually get dominated by the jungle creeps.
Gragas is going to try for that in-lane gank. Though Maokai isn't pushing very quickly, so I feel as if Gragas is going to back, and he is. So far, there's not much going on in the lanes. Rumble is getting a little bit greedy there.
But it might. Nope.
Doesn't. I feel as if Gragas stayed a little bit longer, I feel as if he might have gotten a good gank there, because of how greedy Rumble got right there. But he backed, and so Rumble did get away with that. And now he is ahead in his lane by a little bit. Let's see. But generally, not much happening in the lanes. Lee Sin is going for a gank bot lane, probably through bushes, as per usual, or through the thresh hook. That flash hook.
Very good play.
That is a very nice play. But then there is the Alistar disengage. But I don't think it is enough to save Kog'Maw.
Now this is huge. Tristana, if she gets a lead on Kog'Maw, can burst him down like crazy. Rumble is in trouble.
Rumble did die to the gank from Ahri and Gragas. But that is a 3-man gank, and we did get a kill bot lane to trade.
Honestly though, that roam on Ahri, while it was good, she didn't get the kill. And if you look at what's happening mid lane, she's going to miss on a cannon wave, which is going to honestly set her a little bit far behind. She did not get enough gold.
This is a good start. Our team did see that they were all top, and they are starting Dragon, and this is a very good play. Hopefully Lee Sin doesn't die to Dragon, and oh crud. Okay, good. Tristana did take the tank, luckily, before either the support or the carry, or the Lee Sin died. But that is a very good Dragon right there. I'm glad our team had the map awareness to start Dragon right as they saw that Rumble died top.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing is really happening in the lanes. Mostly kills here and there. This is going to be a really passive lane, top lane, unless like their entire team ganks.
Again, I think you really ultimately are going to want to focus on that bot lane.
That bot lane is like.
Look at Tristana. Tristana has a BF sword, 2 Kog'Maw's Ruby, and 2 his longsword. Kog'Maw is going to be vastly out-damaged if they go into any form of scrimmage.
They are pretty even in CS. Kog'Maw and Tristana have generally same amount of CS, but Tristana does have the kill over Kog'Maw, which does net her that BF sword.
Really good cleanse by Victor, but I think it was a little too late.
I feel as if he's still going to get away pretty easily there. Gragas doesn't really have a good way to engage until level 6, and he is only level 5 currently. I feel as if Gragas, if he had the barrel, it would have been an easy kill on Victor, but as he was only level 5, that wasn't the case.
Ahri is fairly low on mana right now, though.
They want to see the Lee Sin engage for when we gank bot. They want to see the engage.
The replay?
If we have time, yeah, we can replay.
We can replay it right now because there's really not much happening in the game. So if you want to back up the video a little bit to the Lee Sin engage bot lane.
Oh, actually, okay, let's see. Oh. The damage coming from Victor is really high, though. That's the thing with Victor, is he can just, even though he just got nerfed, he really can just output a lot of damage early game. And I feel like if Kog'Maw doesn't position perfectly in these team fights, and Victor's able to get, good engage by Rumble. Oh, very well done.
He does die.
Good job, they're backing out. Not worth chasing a Maokai under turret. Doesn't really work out well.
Usually doesn't. That was a nice little jungle gank there for our team. That does put us in a 1k gold lead, which is super, super good. Hopefully we turn this game around and have a all for nothing last game.
What I really like seeing is Ohlone put their mid laner on a damage dealer instead of a protect the 80 carry comp.
Instead of Lulu, I feel like, Lulu. I feel like the Lulu pick into mid lane was slightly awkward because Lulu couldn't really fight Orianna.
Yeah.
She could defend herself against Orianna, but Orianna pretty much had a free lane that entire game last game.
Yeah.
In this style, at least Victor has a presence in mid lane.
I honestly feel like Lulu works better as a top laner. Mid lane, with the nerfs that Lulu has gotten, I don't feel like her damage. Yes, you can play her in mid lane, but I feel like she works better as a top laner.
So I'm not quite sure. Like, I'm not like too. What's the word for it? Too super happy with the thresh hooks onto Alistar. I feel like they're not quite the greatest target to hook on. But
Gragas is coming. They do see that. They do see him with a red bush, but they don't really seem to be backing out.
there is a teleport.
There is a teleport coming. And
Tristana is going to die.
Very well played by
That is a very good gank. And then Gragas' ult does shove Thresh straight into their enemy team.
So,
and
mistakes on red side there was...
So they did spot Gragas, but they didn't back off. And then there was a teleport into their bush, and they didn't spot that either.
But more importantly, if you notice, the bot lane there was trying to zone out an enemy team right next to their tower. If you want to be zoning the enemy team, you need to be towards your tower, where if you get a gank like that, they almost have to tower dive you to make it worth it. That's the only really effective way you can really zone someone from experience. When they're under their tower, they're still able to safely get
the blue team is really good at this group womp comp right now. They are just roaming the entire... They just roamed from bot lane to mid lane and gotten kills in both lanes.
Now this...
I feel as if our team isn't very good at reacting to that. Because I didn't see any danger pings on the map. And I'm pretty sure our spectate mode does give ping warnings and stuff.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not sure if they were doing it over Skype, but I feel like pings are really useful even if you are talking with your team.
So one thing I do want to point out is the dominance of a jungle support roam. This is something that honestly even the pro scene hasn't gotten very good at. A perfect example is Team Solo Mid. Lustboy and Santorin, for example, they don't have the greatest roams. But if you look at teams like Gravity or Team Liquid, they almost perfected it, and it's so dominant right now, especially if you look at Korean teams. Teams that are able to take advantage of the support jungle roams are generally ones who have that more lane dominance. But the thing is, we saw this from last game. Blue side got an early game lead. They got an early game lead. Dragon ends up in 5 seconds, but last game, blue side got an early game lead. They roamed really well, and then after about 25-30 minutes, they kind of seemed stumped. It didn't seem like they really knew what to do. So my guess is Ohlone is probably better at the late game, and California Lutheran University is most likely better at the early game.
So the 4 kills that they got from bot to mid lane did put them back on par with Ohlone team. So, I mean, at this point, it's anything goes. And it does look like they're going to take a lot of damage, and they do get Dragon stolen. I feel as if the Dragon call wasn't the best play, because there was already 3 people around the Dragon when they called the Dragon.
And just a huge lack of miscommunication there from Red side. If you notice, Thresh threw his lantern out, and not a single person grabbed the lantern.
Yep. Yeah, that was difficult. I feel the Dragon call wasn't the greatest call in the world. They did steal Dragon. Ari did steal Dragon.
No, Red side got Dragon.
Red side got
Ohlone got Dragon, which was a good play. But at this point, what the value of... They did deny blue side the Dragon, which is good. But the amount of bonuses they got with Dragon for second Dragon isn't worth as much gold as blue side just got. So blue side has kind of taken over the game.
Blue side has a 2K.
They do have a 2K gold lead. They do have Victor though, and Victor is really good at stalling out games, so it's not a big deal if they have this tier 1 mid tower. Victor, once he gets his death ray upgraded and once he gets a little bit of items, 1Q just takes out an entire wave.
I still feel as if that Dragon call was so risky.
It was.
And like, if I was playing that game, I wouldn't have called it because of how many people were in vision. They had vision of the people nearby Dragon, and I'm pretty sure they weren't completely sure if the blue team had vision on Dragon. So like, I don't know.
It's really difficult because we also have to remember that since the updates, every team is alerted when Dragon is coming up. It's not before where if you took Dragon and they didn't notice it, they didn't have the timer on Dragon. So it's really difficult to judge because despite the fact of them having vision on it or not, they know exactly when it comes up. Yeah. So I really feel like that was just a misplay. Probably should have warded a little bit more and waited for the enemy team to start it up and capitalized on it. So yeah, one thing I do want to point out again is Ohlone seems to be really well at getting vision in, but they don't seem very good to be denying vision. If you notice, California Lutheran University has done a really good job on denying vision on red side. And I'm not sure if I can say the same about Ohlone. Again, Ohlone is still a new team, so they still have a lot of communication to work out. They still practice. I believe they've only practiced once or twice, so they really are like a brand new team all playing together. But it seems to be working. This Lee Sin seems to be working out so far.
Oh, that kick into tower is going to kill Maokai.
Yes, very well played.
That was a very, very nice kick. I feel like Maokai did overextend and then did run toward the enemy tower, which is bad. But they are going to take a bot tower for that. And I don't believe that our team could defend against that.
Cal Lutheran, again, just really strong on these roams. Both games, early game, they seem to really
They're
have
extremely good at the roams.
dominant roaming, which I don't know how long they've been playing together, but I really would like to know because whoever is shot calling or whoever is calling these roams is just really doing an excellent job on capitalizing.
Yeah. They're extremely good. Like, the first game, their roams were amazing. And then, once again, the second games, they got 4 kills out of just 2 roams.
Yeah.
And that's almost a steal. That put them back on the map. Ohlone was winning the early game really well. And then Cal Lutheran just roamed and got all that lead taken away. Almost immediately.
I do want to point out that Kog'Maw has hit his power spike, despite Kog'Maw being a little bit behind, not terribly. He does have his Triforce, so he's gotten to that core item.
So Tristana is 40 CS over Kog'Maw, and Kog'Maw only has 1 kill and 2 assists over Tristana. So I feel like Tristana does have the gold lead and does have the damage lead on Kog'Maw. And I don't know. Kog'Maw is, however, farming the bottom lane while everyone else is stalling the game, which is really good because this will get him ahead. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to be down there contesting.
Oh, that tower dive by Lee Sin seems...
That tower dive by Lee Sin is going to get him killed. I feel like that was a really bad call on his part. He was trying to make a play. I feel as if he was trying to dragon kick somebody into our team, but it was just a bad call.
Seems like he had Lee syndrome.
Lee syndrome.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like either that was a miscommunication, maybe he thought they were going to tower dive, or maybe he didn't mean to do it. Maybe he just kind of grabbed it and tried to roll with it. Really good solo kill on Rumble's part, though.
Exactly.
Ooh,
that is a kill for Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
And I think Kog'Maw and their team is going to clean up the rest of these kills.
Kog'Maw and Tristana are both taking... Ooh,
that
really?
was a very nice all-star combo. I've seen a lot of players miss
Oh,
that up.
very well played by Victor.
Yep. Yeah, there's a free kill on Ari.
Again, I really have to give it to Cal Lutheran's support player. He honestly seems to have a huge impact on how their games play out. He roams really well with the team. He knows how to catch them out. He seems like a really dominant player for this team as a whole.
Damn. That Thresh back was amazing. He managed to sneak out of the enemy jungle with 3 players looking for him. Like, that stealth Thresh is insane. They should nerf his invisibility. Like, whoever thought giving Thresh invisibility was
So Dragon is live. Lee Sin has been kind of standing there for a long time, getting ready to try stealing it. No real vision though, and he is by himself.
That dragon kick was not quite the best.
Yeah.
I feel like he should have saved it for something else.
However, Ohlone does look to turn it around.
Yeah, this will work. But Ari is coming in for the cleanup, so I feel as if,
Alright, Tristana getting a little bit of kills.
That is still a win for Red Team. Red Team did get 3 kills for just 1 death on Lee Sin. Lee Sin's dragon kick was slightly awkward. I feel as if he could have made that a little bit better by not kicking so early. Since Kog'Maw was outside of Dragon Buff, he was next to Lee Sin, and then our Red Team was coming into River behind him. So I feel like that would have been a better catch, and
he really should have waited for his team. Had his team been there, that may have been able to do something, but a little early. So I do want to point out that Ohlone does now have the gold lead. It's not by a lot; it's only by 600, but they do currently have the lead. This game's been very evenly traded, and I really will be interested to see how Ohlone does play their late game, because the same thing with last game. Ohlone seemed really kind of confused early game, but late game they actually seem to be playing very well as a team. So it'll be really interesting to see if with this 500 gold lead they currently have, if they're able to turn that into a lead or not, or into a win.
Hopefully. Though Cal Lutheran's Cal Lutheran's really good at roaming, and our Ohlone team does split very often. Like, look at this Rumble.
Yeah.
And his team is behind an entire wall.
Another thing I want to point out is Rumble is in this jungle, and look at the lack of vision he has.
Yeah.
Now, I understand he was trying to place that pink ward there.
Oh, so this is a kill on Thresh, and yeah. So Rumble did kind of force the engage on Thresh's, force Thresh to engage with him, and I feel like him roaming in the jungle wasn't gonna provide anything, because there wasn't really any big objectives to take in the red jungle, or in the blue jungle. So I feel like that was a mistake on Rumble's part.
Another thing is, I understand he was trying to place that pink ward, but he went in by himself. Yes, his team was shortly far behind him, but at this point of the game, in this point of the game, if you really want to place wards in their jungle, you have to go as a unit. Otherwise, you can be solo killed.
Otherwise, you get caught, and then your team dies for you.
Yeah.
If they try to save you. So that was a good Alistar engage. If Gragas was a little bit more on top of it, I feel like they could have turned that into
Very well
really
played
good
by
fight.
Lee Sin. Ooh, Tristana did.
That was a
take
little bit
damage.
close. I
Yeah.
feel like their communication wasn't really on par, because you would see they weren't quite running toward Lee Sin. If Tristana did not run up toward Lee Sin at the last second, Lee Sin would have died from Kog'Maw explosion.
Well, he does have a side step. He could have just popped the board. Pop.
Yeah, he could have, but like it was still kind of iffy. Yeah. So we are maintaining the gold lead, which is really good for our team. We are still behind in kills, and I mean, Cal Lutheran's really good at picking our characters off, because of like how good their Alistar is. Their
Again,
Alistar
though,
is near amazing.
that's very true. But if you look at that last fight, Kog'Maw really out of position, really left himself vulnerable. If Kog'Maw didn't die there to Lee Sin, pretty much a solo kill, just a free kill for Lee Sin, they really could have turned that fight around.
They could have.
So if Cal Lutheran wants to win this game, their Kog'Maw has to stand. Like even right now, if you notice this, he's kind of
leading the charge.
Yeah.
Is-
Certain ADKs can do that. Tristana is one of the few who actually can, because she has a dash. Kog'Maw doesn't
Not
have good
really.
movement speed, has no forms of dash. If he gets caught out, he is dead.
Sorry, I'm being attacked by a cat. What's he doing? Shooting.
That's perfect.
I'm being attacked by a cat.
Drew, so you drew
My
Okay.
cat is like so cute.
what?
So, yeah, my cat is purring. Not really lots happening right now. Top laner is just kind of up and top, but doesn't really make sense. Neither top laner has teleport. They come up roughly about the same time. So, yeah. They're just kind of pushing.
I've never heard a cat make this.
Rumble's getting a little. Okay, he's backing
Your
up.
cat's
That's good.
rumbling. That's for sure. I'm sorry, I'm distracted right now. This really pretty cat is just like sitting on me. made a mistake. The first game was Ohlone's win, apparently.
I just want to point out that we were given the names last minute, and
I blame Steven. For anybody watching, I personally blame Steven for these.
yeah,
Also, team fight is happening, and stuff are dying.
yes.
And blue team is killing everybody. So, there you go. Sorry, that's just like the ad-lib version of it, because I was distracted by yelling at Steven.
Yeah. So interesting. Honestly, both teams seem to be like suiciding over Dragon. Dragon is worth it, but if you're just gonna get aced, it's really not that worth it. Actually, if you look at beginning of season 5 split TSM, a lot of the games they won, they actually avoided Dragon and just pushed lanes, while the other teams got Dragon.
It's like that was a very nice laser.
Victor
on
has
Victor's
a
part.
ton of damage right now, but
However, he is going to get caught in jungle and die for it.
yes.
But I mean, Ohlone has lost its 2K gold league. It is now to blue team's favor, which is difficult. I don't know what's wrong with the cat. What is wrong with the cat?
And yes, for people asking, players are in their own
It's like
house.
squeezing me for some reason.
It likes she.
It's like,
So yeah, pretty
like,
interesting game so far. Again, Dragon seems to be a very big priority on both these teams, and very misplated wards. If you notice, Lee Sin checked Tribush instead of checking Dragon pick. That's if you're about to take Dragon, well, Tribush having a ward in there is important. It's nowhere near as important as checking to see if the physical Dragon pit is warded, because ultimately Dragon pit ward is gonna see whether or not
you're taking.
they're
Dragon.
taking Dragon. So a little misplay on there, but not a big deal. They did get the Dragon. Cal Lutheran didn't really capitalize.
I feel as if so the thing about the objectives in League is they're super important, but not if you throw at them.
Yeah.
Are you just gonna hold my shirt? Come on, I like the shirt. You can hold a hole in it.
Your nails need to be cut. That's what I was thinking. I apologize. We have cats.
We have cats in the office.
But yeah, Kog'Maw has a ton of kills right now. I would just like to point that out.
I'm distracted, sorry.
It's all good. Kog'Maw is definitely going to be the main damage dealer for Cal Lutheran, and
You ever seen The Godfather? That's what I feel like right now. I just have this cat in my lap, and I'm just like petting her, and this is amazing. You don't even know, guys. Like this is my favorite shoutcasting location. Like top tier shoutcasting location.
another thing I want to point out is Cal Lutheran has a strong team comp, but gets shut down by Magic Resist very easily.
Magic the Gathering, what?
Magic the Gathering. No, Magic Resist. Once they all get their Magic Resist items, I don't see Cal Lutheran's team comp doing that much damage. Beautiful kick by Lee Sin.
Damn.
Beautiful play by Thresh. It's a really well played.
Ari is going to, however, clean up really, really well. Gragas did save Thresh. No, he didn't. I lied. I am
But
a
Tristana's here to
liar.
clean up.
I am a
Tristana's
filthy
here to
liar.
clean up. Cal Lutheran has no damage right now. They might be able to catch at Lee Sin,
Oh,
but right
This is
now
actually
they have no
really-
damage.
they are going to catch Lee
Oh.
Sin. And I feel as if Lee Sin running toward the enemy base wasn't the best option. Because they are helping them escape, basically. Because they can kill him along the way to running back home.
Yeah.
If I feel as if he just ran toward his teammates, they would have either backed off from him, or they would have secured. They would have been in a tighter spot, and they would have probably secured a couple more kills.
And I'm not trying to point the blame here, but if you notice, Ari got really aggressive. She jumped
Ari
in,
got greedy because Gragas made the mistake
Yes.
of shoving Thresh away.
but
If Gragas placed his ultimate a little bit better, it would have caught Thresh,
Yeah,
and Ari would
exactly.
not need to go for the greedy play. But yes, Cal Lutheran's team is quite greedy.
yes.
Like, think of
If Ari hadn't died there, that whole fight, honestly, I feel would have been Cal Lutheran's right for the taking. And a very greedy Baron pick,
But they're going to get away with it for free because
there's
our
no
team,
vision.
So the thing is, our Tristana is seeing bot lane.
Yeah.
So they cannot contest fights because all they have to contest the fight is Rumble and Victor currently.
Honestly, though, they should have considered that. Kog'Maw, for those of you guys who don't know, Kog'Maw is arguably one of the best AD carries for taking out Baron. You pop your W, once you have Blade of the Ruined King, you're doing like 8% max health and 8% current health. That amount of damage to Baron is crazy. On top of that, your Q knocks down Baron's armor, and you're just doing ridiculous amount of damage to Baron. They took it really fast, and Ohlone's the lack of ability to ward river or ward certain areas of the map really punished them there. They took that Baron for free. Ohlone didn't even consider it.
The problem with Ohlone is not because they don't ward, it's because they don't clear wards out. And Cal Lutheran, on the other hand, put wards down and clears wards out. So, like, vision denial is just about as important as vision control, like, vision in general. Like, vision wins games, so if you deny the enemy team of vision, you win the game.
Another thing I want to point out is Ohlone has 4 sweeping lens.
And they don't clear.
I don't think that they don't clear. I think they're just using it in improper places. Back to the Lee Sin doing Tribush instead of Dragon Pit. They're not focusing on where they're trying to deny vision. They need to be, after about 25, 26 minutes, your focus on warding Dragon and making sure Dragon is visible at all times. After about 26, 27 minutes, that needs to change. Your focus needs to be on Baron, especially with a Kog'Maw. Especially with a team comp as tanky as this, they can easily tank Dragon while Kog'Maw just stands in the back, dealing all the damage. Really good engage by Thresh there. Really well done. Sadly, the focus... Oh, wow.
These re-engages are really good.
Yeah.
On Cal Lutheran's part. So what happened was Alistar went in and took a lot of damage and died, but he did, however, manage to CC them long enough for Maokai to jump right back.
Rumble getting really greedy.
Rumble is getting super greedy.
He walked back in.
But he might actually get away with this.
It is possible.
He is going to get away with this, and he honestly could turn around and kill Gragas because Gragas is out of mana.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Yeah, why did he back up? I don't know.
Anyways, I'm hoping he kills him.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good.
Good job, Rumble.
So that turnaround was really good. He did see that Gragas ran out of mana and turned the fight immediately. He did, however, made a misclick, and he probably clicked the map, because I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
He probably clicked the map and turned back. I'm glad that it didn't cost him that kill. However, soloing Dragon isn't ideal for Rumble. He is going to die to Dragon if he stays.
Nope. Oh, perfect timing. One thing I do want to point out was the engage on Lee Sin in that team fight actually kicked Alistar into the team. And again, that comes down to the focus. For those of you guys who don't know, Alistar's ultimate makes it where he takes like what, 50% reduced damage?
Yep.
So why are you putting all your resource on the tank whose ultimate makes him 50% more tankier? Oh, beautiful.
Ari does get away because she is pretty swirly. The thing about kicking Alistar in the team, Alistar did get a knockup because of that. So it wasn't quite the best idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I want to point out is that Baron take was amazing.
That Baron
But
was great.
They got aced immediately after that.
They did.
They didn't really back after getting Baron. They kind of misplayed that a little bit. I feel like they should have rotated from bot to mid, pushed that out a little bit, and then even maybe rotated top, focusing their Baron buff to affect all areas of the map. Instead, they went bot lane. They engaged a fight under turret, which was not ideal, and they got punished for that.
Alistar's knockup is on par again, and it does get them a Thresh kill. Thresh's positioning was really awkward. His team was behind the wall that he was, and couldn't really run to help him.
Yeah.
That was really awkward positioning. But
Oh, and Lee Sin
and it is a
got
Lee
out of
Sin catch
position.
as well. That Ari did hit that charm.
I
It's pretty. This actually will be a free mid tower
Yeah.
and mid inhibitor for blue
I
team.
really have to question if that was the pathing or if he meant to go that way.
I feel like he meant to go that way, but I don't think he expected Ari to be there when
Yeah.
he went that way. And then Ari showed up and immediately saw him and threw her charm out. So her reaction speed, mid lane's reaction speed is amazing.
Yeah, both mid lane players
Right.
I honestly feel are really strong.
They're really good at reacting to things happening. And like I don't know, both mid lane players, not even just one or the
Again
other.
though, Cal Lutheran very out rotating Ohlone right now.
Yeah.
Ohlone is struggling to find objectives to take. They're farming really well. If you notice, most of Ohloni's team does have a CS lead, but they just aren't rotating. They aren't.
They have a CS lead, but the fact is, they did lose a Baron, and they are so far down in towers
Yeah.
that Cal Lutheran has a 5k gold lead on them.
Yeah.
Because it is 7 towers to 3.
This game has been very, very back and forth, but I feel like Ohloni's just put too much focus
on team fights.
on Dragon and team fighting.
Team fighting and Dragon, and not enough on the main objectives, which is taking down the enemy base.
Yeah.
So Ohlone is down all of its outer
Oh.
towers and the inhibitor, while or inner towers and the inhibitor, and Cal Lutheran has all of their secondary towers still up.
And I do want to point out that Ohloni's comp actually has a much better sieging potential.
It does.
There's more ranged champions on Ohlone. On top of that, they have Tristana, who is the #1 tower pusher in the game currently. She drastically beats
So
Jinx.
Ari is in a bad spot right
Yes.
now.
Very bad spot. She's
and
going to
I
get...
think she
Oh.
is going to live because of Kog'Maw's heal.
But
That's a very good heal on.
They have,
Kog'Maw's
with
part.
just Kog'Maw, if Ohlone decides to start this dragon, they're going to get in trouble.
Baron.
Yes, sorry, Baron. Lee Sin,
So Lee Sin is really
greedy there.
Really greedy. I've seen him jump into the 5-man and then get immediately turned on, and I'm just like, I'm not sure what was really going on there.
That Thresh, though.
That Thresh hooks are really good. Both sides Threshes were really good at hitting.
I think we were messed up, though. I think it was
Was
Thresh
it the-
both games.
Was it our Thresh? the
Supposedly,
most game?
we were blue side last side, so...
Well, our
apparently-
Thresh is a god.
Yes.
And he should be. It should be known that he's a god.
Yes. One thing I do want to point out is very risky play. Ohlone just took Baron with their jungler dead.
Yeah.
Cal Lutheran not really in a spot to punish them for it though. So
No, they did get most of their team killed. There's only 2 people alive to contest, and most of our Ohlone team was alive.
yeah.
And so like if they were to try and contest Baron, they would have died for it.
Again, we do want to apologize to the people in the chat. Yes, we made that mistake. We came in late.
We came in late, guys. Blame Steven when you see him.
Uh,
Like Steven J. Fora. Remember that name. Remember that name, boys. For our 14 viewers, we'll remember you.
22
forever.
viewers, okay? Thank you very much.
22 viewers.
yes.
Will remember us for this. This
Lee
is the guy you
Sin-
should be mad at. Not us.
Lee Sin has gone caught out a few too many times.
Quite a
That
several
was the
times.
third time I can think of within the past 5 or 6, 7 minutes.
I understand. I'm like 80% sure he's the shot caller for our team. I'm not quite sure. Do you know who the shot caller is
No.
for our team? So I feel like he's trying to make these plays, but like their team has such a good disengage
Yeah.
that it's really, really hard for Lee Sin to make these plays. Because
Oh.
the second he jumps in, Alistar will knock him up and murder him.
I want to point out the Ohloni's positioning right here. You
Ohloni's
have-
positioning was Thresh and Rumble again
Yeah.
in their whole team, and then our team was mid lane.
Our damage dealers were mid lane pushing towers.
Pushing minions, not
Pushing
towers.
minions, yes. I apologize.
It
My
was
brain is not here today.
difficult. I feel like they should have sacrificed Baron for that one if their team wasn't going to like So the thing about people is like, you shouldn't run into an objective by yourself
Yes.
if your team isn't gonna follow you,
I-
because that is just like a way to throw. You're giving them a free kill.
A big part of this could be also Tristana's blue trinket. Where is she placing it? Or when is she placing it?
I actually don't know where she is
Yes.
placing it.
It's very crucial that you put it on Dragon or Baron. And
Well, the thing is, she was mid lane.
Yes.
So she wasn't in range.
Yes.
To blue trinket anything.
but that just comes down to communication.
Yeah.
If that's what's happening in our team, hey, you know what? Let's push mid. Giving them the Sand Dragon's not a big deal. It does delay Ohlone's 5th dragon, which sucks. It really does. But at the end of the day, Sand Dragon buffs are really not that big of a deal. It's really 1st, 3rd, and 5th buffs that you really need to prioritize and be scared of.
I feel like both teams have this solo queue mentality. They don't quite work as a team yet.
Well, they're still very new.
They are, yeah. They're still very new. The thing is, they keep making for plays that they will do themselves over communicating with a team to make like team plays, basically. Usually, what is happening is somebody will go in, engage, and then set up a kill, and then everyone else just leaves on top of it, as if like it was a solo queue. So that was a good kill on Lee Sin again, and this is gonna be a kill on Thresh. They were caught in the middle of all their heavy tanks. Though that is really good positioning on Victor's part.
Yeah.
He dropped ultimate on top of Kog'Maw the second he saw him.
Victor-
And then lasered.
Victor coming out to be really a huge impact
Victor
on his team.
is really, his positioning is on like top notch
Yeah.
right now. He is keeping far enough away from their damage dealers to pick off their entire team.
No, that really scared me. I honestly thought Tristana was gonna go in on that, and
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad she backed out because
So our team did turn that fight really, really well. Our jungler and our support did get killed right at the start, but Victor, Rumble, and Tristana's damage and like positioning was good enough to pick out their damage. So they picked out Kog'Maw behind their tanks,
yeah.
and that was absolutely perfect because once you get rid of their damage, their tanks are just need shields.
Again, though, back to what I said earlier, I wasn't really comfortable in this Lee Sin pick, and it doesn't really.
It doesn't seem like it's
out.
working, but it's fine because Tristana,
Yeah,
Victor,
but
and
2-11 and
Rumble are
10, 2-11 and 10. He has almost half the deaths
well,
on Ohlone's team. But it's not his fault. Lee Sin really is not that good of a jungler at this time.
he has really
he's-
fallen off.
He's incredibly fallen off. I feel like they should have. Shyvana was up. Shyvana honestly would have been a much better pick in this scenario. She would have dealt more damage late game, would have been more tanky, and her ult, while not maybe as much damage as Lee Sin's ult, more devastating in a team fight, or at least easier to devastate a team fight with it, because it's much easier to engage with it. And then on top of that, with how tanky Shyvana is late game, she can go and engage like that and leave with almost no punishment whatsoever.
So I see that Tristana is applying for Future Farmers of America. She does have almost a 100 gold lead or 100 minion lead on Kog'Maw. Like she
Yeah.
is absolutely great at farming, CSing while fights are happening.
But I
and
do
while
want to point out
things are happening.
the impact Tristana's had on this game compared to Kog'Maw. While Tristana has 3 less deaths, look at those assists.
Yeah, Kog'Maw is really good at assisting. It's probably because their tanks are so good at holding down characters for him.
Yeah,
to
but I just
fire.
want to say this Kog'Maw, he's really performed well. Tristana's performed well, but I feel like Kog'Maw in most fights positions very well and has had a fairly big impact on the team.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw does have a Hex Drinker right now, which is an interesting buy. It does work out on Kog'Maw, but I feel like Tristana is doing the better choice going with the Banshee's Veil.
He might. I'm not quite. He might have gotten it for Victor because Victor
Yeah.
did. Like Victor shredded him. The
Yeah.
second Victor got close enough to put his ultimate on top of Kog'Maw, Kog'Maw died.
Oh, and it looks like a good engage. Oh,
That was a
Failed.
good disengage
it was a good disengage.
on the blue team side. Where is most of the blue team right
I'm really impressed though. Ohlone, their late game has seemed to really pick it up. The game has gone back and forth, but right now they really seem to be rotating quite well. A few misplays here and there, but
They're still really down on towers, though.
That is very true.
But, I mean, they're catching up, which is good.
Baron is up just now. It just came live. And Dragon comes up in 35 seconds. They really need to... They haven't spot lane push, and they need to decide which objective they want to go for. Because they can keep pushing this.
With the mid lane cannon, like the super minion pushing mid lane, I feel as if a Dragon...
Ari and Kog'Maw are not here.
Yeah. I feel as if a Baron run right now with the super minions pushing into the...
Great idea.
Nexus turrets, they should go for Baron immediately. Because if
either that, or they need to get this bot tower and go to Dragon and get that 5th Dragon.
I feel as if their disengage is so good that, like, cause like they have a really heavy front line. Like right now.
Lee Sin is kicking the Alistar.
Yeah. This fight is actually going to be bad for the blue team.
Yeah.
I feel as if Alistar didn't notice that the team was losing until it was too late. Because I saw the entire team drop in health, and Alistar kept running at the enemy team, and I feel like that was a really big misplay. Lee Sin is going to die again. He did take a turret into the face, and then Ari immediately queued him for it. Lee Sin is getting punished for his misplays really well.
Tristana's playing really well, but she's positioning in a very aggressive, kind of greedy way.
I feel as if she's allowed to because of her range.
That's very true, but Maokai pushing top all by himself. I feel like
I don't think he's going to get enough damage on that next on that inhib.
He's not, but if you notice, there's only one tower. There's only one outer base tower alive on Ohlone.
Yeah.
Then they just have their Nexus towers, and that's it. If Ohlone messes up one team fight at this rate, Cal Lutheran can easily capitalize on that.
The thing about Cal Lutheran,
Tristana needs to be going to Baron. Okay, good.
They're on the same boat as our team, except they're down both inhibs now. So I feel like our team should group up at Baron.
Yeah.
And then either
Lee Sin up in 1 second though.
Start at the second that they shove both lanes into their base, so that they're forced to deal with that or lose Nexus turrets, which is like insane. If you lose Nexus turrets to a minion wave, it's almost game over by then, because like I don't know. So they're forced to deal with that, and then they can take Baron for free, or they'll fight you at Baron, and then you can turn on them, and then win the game from there. Like the Baron throws are super real in like all of LCS. I've seen so many Baron throws, it's insane. So Thresh does die again, and I feel like Lee Sin is going to die again.
Lee Sin had the right mindset, but he dove too far into
the thing about this though is the damage dealers were all in river, and Thresh and Lee Sin were so split from the team that it was almost impossible for anybody to react fast enough to save him. Yeah. And then Rumble right there got way too greedy, and damn, that was great. Yeah, that was really good.
Really well played by Tristana. The knockback into
Victor's thing was amazing. But as I said before, Rumble did get a little bit too greedy. Ari is really good at kiting people.
Yeah.
And I feel like Rumble's range isn't quite long enough to deal with that kind of harass. And he did die for it because he did chase too far into that jungle.
Now, Lee Sin at 13 deaths, so.
Please. So I hate to say it, but our Lee Sin is getting carried.
I don't think he's a bad player. I feel like the Lee Sin just isn't working out, because with Lee Sin you really need to have a very high amount of communication with your team.
He isn't picking his engages really well, because he jumps into a 5-man team while they're prepared for it.
And he's not tanky enough yet.
Yeah.
He really isn't.
So, like, Lee Sin is a good pick. Like, he's not a bad character. But, like, he does run straight into a 5-man team comp. And I'm not sure if he expects not to die.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it. Like, every single time he jumps into the team, and he gets punished for it.
Yeah.
And, like, our team is basically fighting a 3v5 at this point. Because Thresh and Lee Sin do die, like, right at the start every single time.
Lee Sin really needs to be waiting for the engage of Rumble's ults or a Thresh hook.
I'm
That is-
hoping.
That is the only scenario in which League
I'm
joins
hoping
in.
he's building that Negatron cloak into a Guardians Angels, just because of how often he dies in the middle of the team.
But I hope.
I hope he is, because that would make these fights so much easier. I don't know, because like they're always down their support in their jungle, in every single fight, and I feel like if they weren't, they'd be. Oh, this is a good catch on Thresh.
Yeah.
And I think Thresh is going to die, and then Rumble is kicked into it. But he
Beautiful.
does have the flame up while
Beautiful
he's
play.
Zhonyaed. So they walk straight into that, and that was a pretty good fight right there.
Lee stepped it up in that fight. He really waited for the perfect time.
I
And
feel like he's watching our call.
yes,
And he knows we're talking shit
I want to
about
point
him.
out
And
we're
he's
not
just like,
trying to talk bad about him. It's just he's made
I'm
a
totally
lot of
trying to talk bad about him.
he's made a lot of mistakes so far this game. And the fact is, Lee Sin as a champion really takes a lot of communication with the team. You really have to know when he's going to engage, and you really have to communicate that beforehand. And Ohlone is still on your team. That communication is just not there yet.
It's not quite there yet, but I'm hoping with future games they will have the communication to make amazing plays, because it looks like they have the skills to do it.
Yeah.
Tristana's positioning is really awesome. Victor's positioning is like top notch.
Oh yeah.
Thresh's hooks are amazing, but his positioning isn't the greatest positioning I've seen.
Oh,
that
Tristana
damage
getting greedy.
on Tristana is insane, and
She
sadly
used a heal. She
used the heal and flash to
Yeah.
try and get that kill.
Very greedy play.
If she used it earlier, she would have gotten that kill, but I think she waited a little bit too long
Yeah.
to do it.
She's gonna.
And she's going to be fine. Tristana does have her get out of dodge ability, and not very many people can chase her because of how long of a range it is. So she did get a GAs. I'm so happy for
Yay.
Lee Sin. Like, jeez.
And Lee Sin, honestly, his mechanics have seemed very, very well done.
They're-
It's just it's really just the miscommunication of when he engages
When
in
he-
team
yeah.
fights that has made this Lee Sin pick. It's why I went 3-13 and 13 at 52 minutes. Another thing I do want to say is I feel like this game's really been stalled out by both people. The
Both
goal-
sides have been making mistakes that stall the game
Yeah.
out longer.
But good job on them, because whenever there is a gold lead on the other team, the opposing team that is down both teams have just played very well in making sure that they don't fall too far behind and continue on the game.
So Lee Sin is going to drop again, but he has GAs this time. So
Ari wasn't even.
he
in
will
that
be
fight,
back
though.
in time. Oh, but he took the
Beautiful.
push.
Victor damage is just incredibly high. Kogwan's gonna fall.
So this is good game here.
Yeah.
That is just wow. Akama did get a kill on Lee Sin, which is okay.
Oh.
And that is a very good
damage.
laser snipe on Ari. And this is game here. They're just gonna push mid and win the game. Their timers are all 50 seconds, so that's more than enough for Tristana to
You have
take
to
out.
point out in that
Aces
team
Tower.
fight, Cal Lutheran went in when Ari was not there yet.
On top of that, okay, so focusing Lee Sin in those fights was good back before he didn't have GAs. But the second he grabbed GAs, he died, right? And then he came back. They didn't get a kill off of him, you know? Like, I feel like focusing Lee Sin wasn't the greatest idea. I feel like if they needed to somehow kill Victor and Tristana first. After that, the rest of their team would have been the cakewalk.
Yeah.
But that was a good play on red team part.
Both teams really played really well. I just want to point that out. Again, Cal Lutheran, their early game seemed very dominant. It seemed their rotations
Their
really
rotations were amazing.
they really impacted the game in which they set Ohlone behind
multiple times.
Multiple times. Ohlone got caught out quite a bit, but every single time they made sure they stalled that game. The Victor pick there was just so crucial.
Their Victor